and welcome to another episode of the In Between Podcast. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the In Between Podcast with your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. Thank you so much for tuning in, and before we get too far along in the pod, do me a favor and slap that like and subscribe button. Go ahead and smack that like and subscribe. It definitely helps the show stay alive, and we appreciate it here at Mom's Garage Studios. Wanted to jump right into the biggest announcement lately, and that's James Gunn rolling out his DC lineup, and god damn am I hyped for it. James Gunn really rolling up his sleeves and getting to work here on DC to finally get them caught up to Marvel. And I mean, just looking at the lineup, it's looking pretty promising, and he actually answered a lot of things I was very curious about. First and foremost, the Flash movie, still coming out end of the year, and apparently it's still all gravy with the new upcoming DC universe, because I think that they're going for kind of like a Spider-Man No Way Home kind of thing, where it's like they're doing the Flashpoint for sure. Like, there's no way they're not doing Flashpoint, right? So in Flashpoint, if you don't know, Flash goes back in time. I think he like stops his mom from getting murdered, or I think he stops Reverse Flash from like murdering his mom, and then it just destroys the whole timeline. We get one of the best interpretations of Batman, which is, I think instead of his parents getting killed, Bruce Wayne gets killed, so then Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and Martha Wayne becomes the Joker. And this Thomas Wayne, it's been a while since I've read Flashpoint or watched the movie, but I vaguely remember Thomas Wayne Batman being like all about guns, and they never really touched too much on like on the Martha Wayne turning into the Joker. They just like really briefly hint at it, I remember in the comic, but it is such a cool idea, and it's also one of the coolest looking Batmans. Thomas Wayne, he's got like the red eyes, it looks dope as hell, and like so it's very interesting. So I guess it's okay. It has like a vibe of like, we've seen it, like they did it in Spider-Man with all the alternate universes, so it has a little bit of a feel like, oh great, now you're doing this. You had Flashpoint for years, never wanted to touch it, but all of a sudden, Spider-Man's bringing in alternate Spider-Mans, and DC's like, oh shit, we can do that too, I guess. It's also funny to think about Ezra Miller being the last Justice League member standing. Who would have guessed, with a lineup like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa. They said that Aquaman 2 is still coming out, but that'll probably be it for that one. So I guess Jason Momoa is still in it, but goddamn, who would have thought that fucking crazy old Ezra Miller, who's like punching and like choking out fans, and then he's like breaking and entering into like random houses or something, like. But at the end of the day, he's looking like, oh, I guess it's just me holding down the fort here. Having said all that, Flashpoint is very cool, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So now we move on to the lineup, starting with Superman. That's right, no more Henry Cavill. It's got a brand new Superman. It's not coming out till 2025. What am I saying? Not till 2025. That's like 2 years away. Not going to be that big of a wait. But I'm extremely curious to see who that new Superman is going to be. Henry Cavill was pretty awesome. So was, who was the guy in Superman Returns? Brandon something. But he was cool too. He was very Christopher Reeves-ish. But Henry Cavill was awesome too, man. He had the look. He was like Shredsville. It was a really cool dude. Henry Cavill is cool. Big shoes to fill. I mean, Superman is probably the biggest shoes. Batman's up there too, man. Big shoes to fill. Looking forward to seeing who that's going to be. Next up, The Authority, which, I'm going to be honest, I don't know nothing about The Authority, but from my brief research on it, it seems like these lesser-known DC heroes, and it kind of has like a vibe of like, it's giving me like a really, I don't want to say vigilante, but like, kind of like doing their own justice kind of thing. Almost like maybe it'll have like a boys feel. Like it just feels like it's going to be hardcore. But I don't know. I really don't know much about the Authority. I'm always down to see new, interesting DC characters that I've never seen before, especially up on the big screen. It's going to be cool as hell. And then let's hit it with Batman. They're going to bring out the Brave and the Bold storyline, which is going to be cool as hell to me. I mean, Damian Wayne, the son of Batman, who's like nothing but trouble, should be very interesting. I mean, we're going to get to see a brand new... Oh, yeah, and then getting sidetracked here. So James Gunn saying, yeah, okay, cool, we've got the Batman thing going, and, you know, that Joker sequel's coming out. That's cool. Part of DC, it's like the DC... alternate world or something, like DC B, like DC extra, DC, I don't know, like DC alternate or something. Like, so it is still under the DC umbrella, but it's like, hey, we're starting a brand new Batman thing. This is going to be our Batman, Brave and the Bold. Robert Pattinson, yeah, that's like the little Elseworld thing. We'll still make those movies because we're already kind of committed to it, but we're going in this new Batman direction, which has got to be like, Robert Pattinson's got to be like, what the hell, man? Like, I was Batman. Everybody gets a few years of being Batman. I got one, and then boom, you're already like knocking me out to like, and I'm not even gonna be your main lineup Batman. You're making me like Elseworld Batman. Like, what the hell, man? Robert Pattinson just can't catch a break. But yeah, Brave and the Bold, it's a very interesting storyline. It's very cool. I'll be extremely interested to see a young Damian Wayne up on the big screen. And then also we did a new Batman too, which, I mean, endless curiosities about who's going to be the new Batman, who's going to be the new Superman. Who knows? Bringing it back to the should I hit the button? Supergirl. Woman of Tomorrow. Interesting. Supergirl, not too many like movies or shows that I'm aware of. I know that she has that C-Dub show. But if you know me, you know how I feel about the CW. It usually starts like, okay, like CW Arrow, seasons like 1 and like 2 are like bangers, dude. Same with the Flash. CW Flash is amazing for like 2 seasons. And then after that, it just spirals into like really, really campy like feeling. Like the entire cast eventually turns into like a superhero. It's just like, I don't know. But those first seasons are solid. Arrow, man, who's that? Oh, why can I never remember names when I'm like actually doing the pod? But the guy who plays Arrow in those in that show is awesome, man. When he's doing like the bar pull-up thing, that was the greatest thing ever, dude, on Arrow. Very cool. But as far as like a Supergirl movie, I'm into it. I have always liked the idea that like she is like Superman, but extremely different. Like, I think Superman gets like rocketed to Earth as a baby, and he has like a nice upbringing with some awesome parents. He just happens to fall into their lap. He grows up to be like a really cool dude, Boy Scout status. Supergirl, from what I remember, she was like older, I think, when the planet exploded. Like, she was fully like already a young adult, like witnessing her entire family and race of people be wiped out. Somehow she survives and also ends up on Earth somehow. That I don't know, but I like the idea of it being a more, like, Superman doesn't find out about Krypton until, like, you know, he's like a preteen. And then it's just like, that sucks, that sucks. As opposed to Supergirl, who's like witnessed it with her own eyes. Like, it's, you know, it's different. It's a cool idea. I'm into it. Definitely keeping my mind open. Moving on to the Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is very interesting. Swamp Thing is one of those things where it's like, I feel like it's been trying to work for so long. Like, Swamp Thing came out like so long ago in the comics, and there have been so many attempts to try to make it work. Like, I think there was a couple old movies that were terrible, and then I think there was like a very brief show that came out semi-recently ago. Like, I can't remember where though. Maybe HBO Max? I don't know. There was a definite Swamp Thing somewhere. Because I remember watching like 1 or 2 episodes, and it was not that great. I remember it being very slow, and I lost interest very quickly. I also don't know a ton about Swamp Thing. I dig his aesthetic. I dig that it's like kind of like a monster kind of thing, right? He's not really a hero. He's like a monster that just like lives in the swamp and just happens to kill bad guys occasionally. I can't wait. Like, I mean, with the technology to make Swamp Thing look cool, it should be very cool. And it's also going to be a movie, so I mean, they're going full in on Swamp Thing, so I'm down with it too. I'll ride with you. Then we move over to the television, starting with Creature Commandos, which I'm very much looking forward to. It looks like it's going to be animated, and it looks very Suicide Squadish, where it's like basically Suicide Squad, except with like more, how do I just say, like less human team members. Everybody seems to be like a monster or like some crazy fish guy or like a guy that's made out of fire or something. Like, it's very intriguing. I like that it's animated. It should be very cool. Yeah, looking forward to that one too. It's like Suicide Squad, but with like crazy monsters. And then you see the picture of a weasel or whatever, which is cool because it's like they're already, tying it in. Like they had the Suicide Squad where Weasel popped up in that, and you also see that he lived through it. So it's cool that it's cool that Weasel will be like one of the first characters, and it seems like he's going to be like, intertwining throughout this whole universe, which I find very cool. I don't know why I did the thought of like Weasel popping up from the beginning all the way to the end being like pretty interesting. Waller. Amanda Waller. Which is, okay, so this one I don't know how I feel about. Amanda Waller, cool character. Played by Viola Davis, amazing actress, and was born to play Amanda Waller. She encapsulates that role perfectly. There is nobody that could have done it better. Nobody that I want to see do it other than Viola Davis. She is great. Now, having said that, I do like Amanda Waller, but Amanda Waller as like her own show, like just Amanda Waller? I don't know, because then it feels like you're tippy-toeing around like the reasons I like her so much is that she's such a hard badass boss lady. But then I feel like if we start dipping into like a Waller show, we're going to start dipping into like, oh, she's actually kind of sweet behind the scenes, and like, oh, she actually like has fish at home or something. Like, I feel like it's going to take away from her like just being like the ultimate hard ass. Like, I don't know how I feel. I mean, I'll check it out out of curiosity. We'll see what's going on. Booster Gold, another television show which sounds incredible, and I cannot wait. I have never read any Booster Gold comments or anything, but just reading about what kind of character he is sounds amazing, and I'm probably going to pick up a few comments just to check it out because it sounds like an awesome read. Booster Gold is basically a complete loser in the future. Loser. Yeah, complete loser, like in the year 2022, 222, or I don't know how far in the future he is, but it's established that he's like a complete loser. Decides to take a few futuristic gadgets, go back in time, and show up like, what's up? I'm a fucking badass superhero. Look at this like future technology I have. It's a really cool idea of like, it's so interesting because it's like a guy coming from the future, pretending to be somebody he's not. There's going to be like a whole thing about like, being found out for like the fraud that he is. That kind of stuff I like. It's also a cool idea, like going, time traveling, bringing back future technology to make yourself a superhero. I'm assuming there'll be like a jetpack or something. It's very intriguing, and I am very into it. Moving on to Paradise Lost. This is like, he went over it briefly. Gunn was saying something about being like basically Game of Thrones, except set like in the Amazon world, which is actually kind of cool because it's like when you think about it, the Amazonians, I mean, we always get introduced like for a second whenever we pick up Wonder Woman, but then she just leaves. But it is interesting. They have like this whole entire like ancient Greek or ancient Roman society, and it's like, yeah, that is a prime time for like Game of Thrones drama television. So hell yeah, let's check it out. A bunch of Amazonians being Game of Thronesy. I'm down with that. Maybe they'll take on the Atlanteans. That was a big part of Flashpoint, if I remember correctly. In Flashpoint, instead of being allies, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are like trying to murder each other. There's like a big war between the Atlanteans and the Amazonians, so maybe that'll be something. It'll be kind of cool. I'm always into Game of Thronesy kind of stuff. Let's see if there might have been other ones, but we're just going for the big ones here, and we're coming to last but not least, probably the thing I'm most hyped about. Let's hit it with the "In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my might." Lanterns, dude. Finally, lanterns. It's about time. Do you know how long I've been waiting for a great Green Lantern content? Do you have any idea how amazing the Green Lantern universe is? How awesome Green Lanterns are, and how unjustly they've been presented in like popular culture. Yeah, they're great, like in, Justice League animated, whatever. But dude, give me movies. This is perfect. They're making a TV show. What are Green Lanterns? They're fucking space cops, dude. Just give me you could even make it literally like cops. Have a guy just following Jon Stewart around with a camera as he just goes around busting criminals in space. I'd be down for it. The way that they're presenting this, they're making it seem like, well, first of all, not only Hal Jordan, but then also Jon Stewart, they're both going to be the main leads, which is yes, Hal Jordan, yes, Jon Stewart, the two greatest Green Lanterns ever. Hell yeah, teaming up too. You're making them in the same time. I think Hal Jordan is the original, and then Jon Stewart comes later. But yeah, make them partners. Fuck yeah, dude, I'm into it. Yeah, and it's they're saying it's gonna have a true detective vibe. They're flying through space around Earth, solving crime, solving mystery in space. Dude, Green Lanterns are the shit, and I cannot wait for this. Green. I shouldn't keep hyping myself up, but Green Lanterns, I'm so excited for the Lantern Show. Overall, all this stuff is really looking great. James Gunn coming out. James Guns a-blazing, because he's really giving me a lot of hope for what's coming up in DC, which is such a rare thing to say. To be actually excited about this whole new DC lineup. Yeah, dude, it's about time. Let's get it going here. But yeah, we could probably call it there. It's been a good DC news-filled episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the show stay alive. I am your host, as always, Kyle McLemore, and we'll see you next time on the pod.